Former police officer Matipandile Sotheni is facing 16 serious criminal charges linked to the assassination of Marius van der Merwe, widely known as Witness D. The charges include murder, conspiracy to commit murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, unlawful possession of firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, theft, and several separate ammunition-related offences. The attempted murder charges arise from a fact that Van der Merwe's wife and children were allegedly placed in danger during the shooting. If convicted on the main charges, Sotheni could face a life imprisonment. Who is Witness D? Marius van der Merwe was a key witness who testified before the Mavhudlanga Commission into allegations of corruption involving police officers and municipal officials. His evidence reportedly implicated powerful individuals connected to law enforcement structures. He was gunned down outside his home in what prosecutors described as a targeted assassination designed to silence him before further testimony and cooperation with investigation. The defense main objective. The immediate objective of the defense is to secure bail. Because the matter is classified as a Schedule 6 offense under Criminal Procedure Act, Sotheni must prove that exceptional circumstances exist within which justify his release. This is the most demanding bail standard in South African law and places significant burden on the accused. Sotheni personal circumstances. In support of his bail application, Sotheni told the court he has no previous criminal conviction, no protection order against him, no intention to abscond. He offered 30,000 bail and said he support 2 minor children, operate a chicken farm, and has rental obligations. He argued that if he remains in custody, he risks losing his employment and being unable to pay school fees, rent, and legal expenses. The strategy to shift blame to White and Pretorius. The central feature of the defense case is Sotheni's claim that the late Pretorius was the person who wanted Witness D killed. According to Sotheni, Pretorius approached him and asked whether he knew something who could assist him with the problem. Sotheni says he understood that Pretorius wanted Marius van der Merwe murdered, but insisted he refused to help and took part in the plot. Because Pretorius is deceased, he cannot confirm or deny this version. Why this strategy is legally risky? Although the strategy may help Sotheni distance himself from the actual shooting, it also amounts to admission that he knew about the murder plot. The prosecution can argue that by failing to report the plan and by maintaining contact with Pretorius, Sotheni became part of the conspiracy. This means the statement intended to exonerate him may also strengthen the case against him. Explaining his presence in Brakpan, Sotheni admitted he spent time with Pretorius on the day of the murder. He said they drove around, bought food, and later went their separate ways. He claims he only learned Van der Merwe's death later that day. This explanation is designed to counter off any cell phone or tracking devices placing him in the area without conceding involvement in the assassination. Challenging the physical evidence. The defense argues that surveillance footage allegedly show a white utility vehicle where Sotheni says he was driving a black Suzuki Swift. He contested that the discrepancy undermines the prosecution's theory and showed that the state lacked direct evidence identifying him as one of the shooters. Deny any motive. Sotheni maintained that he did not know Marius van der Merwe and had no personal or professional reason to harm him. He emphasized that Van der Merwe's testimony related to Ekurhuleni matters and that he had no connection to those issues. The state forensic case. The prosecution says it has a strong objective evidence linking Sotheni to the murder. This includes ballistic evidence, cell phone records, and vehicle tracking data. Prosecutors urge that the independent source of the evidence place him in the center of the conspiracy and direct contradict his explanation. The state argument on flight risk. The state argument argues that Soten's background and former police officer give him the skill and conduct needed to evade arrest. He is given the possibility of a life sentence. Prosecutors say he has a strong incentive to flee if released. The state concerns about witness intimidation. Prosecutors also contend that releasing Soten could intimidate witnesses and compromise the investigation. Because the alleged victim was a whistleblower, the state says witness protection concerns are particularly serious. Family hardship is not exceptional. The prosecution urges that Soten's family responsibilities do not amount to exceptional circumstances. The state noted that both his wife and partner are employed and capable of continuing to support a family while he remains in custody. Charges of legal representation. Change of legal representation. Soten informed the court that he replaces his previous attorney after alleging that the attorney was taking instruction from someone other than him. He is now represented by advocate Ndabiseng Mohammed, who has also appeared in other high-profile matters linked to the Madlanga Commission. Possible bail outcome. The most likely outcome is that bail will be refused. Courts are generally cautious when dealing with Schedule 6 offenses, especially where the allegations involve a planned assassination of protected witnesses and the state claimed to have strong forensic evidence. If bail is denied, Soten will remain in custody until trial unless he successfully appeals. If the bail is granted, it would likely be subject to stricter conditions such as surrendering his passport, reporting regularly to the police station, and having no contact with witnesses. Possible trial outcome. If the prosecution proves that Soten participated in the planning and execution of assassination, he could be convicted for murder and conspiracy to commit murder and face life imprisonment. If the court finds that he had knowledge of the plot and assisted in some way but was not one of the shooters, he could still be convicted of conspiracy and related offenses. If the defense successfully undermines the forensic evidence and creates reasonable doubt, he could be acquitted. What the bail decision will reveal. Although the bail ruling is not determination of guilt, it will provide a first indication of how the court views the strengthening of prosecution case and the risk associated with releasing Soten. A refusal of bail would suggest that the court consider the evidence substantial and the risk real. The bottom line. Matipandile Soten defense can be summarized as follows. He knew the individual involved, understood there was a plan to kill witness D, and spent time with the key figure on the day of the murder, but insists he was not part of the assassination. The prosecution argues that the admission, together with the forensic evidence, place him in the center of the conspiracy. The bail ruling will be first significant judicial assessment of how strong the state case appears to be. That concludes our analysis. Thank you for watching the sim. If you found this breakdown useful, consider subscribing for clear, factual legal analysis. Until next time, stay informed.